Howdy, boys and girls. Wanted to make a quick video. I had a gentleman who posted a comment on I made a video about backup guns, the last video I made. Guy come on there and said that he's waiting for his concealed carry permit. He was trying to figure out what kind of gun he bought, or he wanted to buy, because he hadn't bought one yet, and that video was had helped him make a decision, which is awesome. And then another gentleman come on and made a comment, and at first I thought he was being just trying to be an internet troll, and as it turns out, I went and I looked through his comments, and I don't believe that's the case. I believe he's just misinformed. I don't believe that he was trying to be funny. I don't think he was trying to do anything. I think he has got some misinformation, and so what we're going to do is we're going to try and help him with that right here today. Please understand, I'm not trying to do this to call him out. I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to put his name up on the screen or whatever. I'm just going to point out the mistakes in his comment. I would, however, caution him to do a little research before he starts posting, being that, I mean, there's people in the gun world that would just simply tear apart what he said, and I'm going to do it in a manner that I'm not trying to embarrass him or insult him, because it's truly not my intentions. His response was, the original comment posted was, "I am waiting for a concealed carry permit before purchasing my carry weapon. I was considering a subcompact from Ruger, Springfield, Ruger, Sig, Glock." He apparently likes Ruger. "After watching this video, I think the choice is clear. Thanks." He didn't say it was Glock, incidentally. But anyway, the response comment was, "Watch Tech shoot himself in the leg. For concealed carry, if you don't train a bunch, you might want to consider a double action, single action, or a double action only. While Glocks are interchangeable and reliable, they have a weird grip angle and a single action trigger. If you have the opportunity to go to the range and rent guns, see what works for you. Glocks are good, but there are major drawbacks, shooting yourself in the leg while drawing from a holster being the biggest one." Alright, let's tackle this in different stages. First of all, let's go about the difference between double action, single action, and double action only. First of all, the whole double single, that is kind of a term that's come along. It's a double action gun. Well, let's start with single action. Standard 1911. This is a single action weapon system, and what that means is the hammer must be in the rearward position for the weapon system to fire. You cannot manipulate the hammer with the trigger in any way, shape, or form, safety off. After you cock this weapon system, now with the hammer in back, or cocked, term cocked and locked, cocked, locked, safety on, hammer back is cocked and locked. With the hammer back, what happens is when you fire this weapon system, the hammer will go forward, hit the firing pin, into the primer, gun fires and cycles, and as the slide moves to the rear and then comes back forward, it will lock the hammer in the rearward position. So reset the trigger, pull it again, start the system all over. Single action only. It is single action only because with the hammer forward, you cannot pull the trigger and have it do anything to the hammer. The hammer must be in the rearward position to make this work. Now, let's talk about double singles, or double action pistols. I don't actually own one. I'll put a link to below to a video of like a Beretta 92 FS. That is a double single. I will go look for a video that explains double single a little bit better, but we're going to use this revolver to excuse me, to point out the key differences. We're going to pretend this is an automatic and it has a slide working this hammer. Excuse me. Alright, with the double action pistol, or what has been called now double singles, if you pull the trigger with the hammer up, the hammer will fire. What would happen is after you do that the first time, you've drawn the pistol and you've extended, and the first thing you're going to do is go through this long, heavy double trigger pull to get the weapon system to fire. The slide cycles and locks the hammer into single action mode. So now, after that first double action pull, now the gun is going to run a lot like this one does, with that light, crisp, single action trigger pull. Like I said, a Beretta 92, some of the Ruger P series are double singles. It's a true double action pistol. It has both actions, single and double. The last one being the double action only, which is what the Glock is. If I'm not mistaken, Glock is the original double action only. I could be wrong about that, but I can't remember a double action only, or DAO, before that. What double action only means is you get the same heavier trigger pull than what you'll get with a 1911 every time you pull the trigger. There is no difference between every shot. So as we press the trigger to the rear, gun goes off, weapon system cycles, you let out on the trigger, you have that same trigger pull again, which in the case of a Glock is 5.5 pounds from the factory. Now 1911s, and I don't care what 1911 you go buy off the shelf, you might be talking about a 2-pound trigger. And a double single, you might be talking about a 5 to 6 pound trigger pull in double action mode, and then on to a 2-pound trigger in single action mode. So that's the difference between the trigger systems in a single action, double single, and a double action only weapon. The next thing I want to address is grip angles. Honestly, I'm getting kind of tired of this argument. Hopefully this puts it to rest. There was a guy on one of the Top Shots, Blake, I think was his name, that when he got smoked in a competition, felt the need to go crying about the grip angle, and God, it went everywhere. That's the new excuse for I can't shoot. Alright, this is the grip angle on a Glock, and I'm using this line here as trying to line it up as close as I can. So at the back of the polymer there, back of the grip. Now we're going to take the 1911, we're going to put it on here, and we're going to go to the back of the true back of the beaver tail here, which get about there, and the back of the pistol grip. Looks kind of the same, boys and girls. It may be a whisker off, it might be. This is a dumb comment. This is like saying, well, I drive nails real good with a hammer from Lowe's, but you give me a Home Depot hammer and I can't hit anything. Sight alignment. Sight alignment is key. If you line up the sights before you press the trigger on any weapon system, I don't care what it is, if you've never shot it before, if you line up the sights, press the trigger, and use proper trigger control, the bullet is going to go where the sights were aligned. Always. So if the grip angle is causing you to miss, you are not using the fundamentals of shooting, therefore you must train yourself better. As far as, some people say, well, speed shooters don't, they get into their gun. Well, yeah, every speed shooter, I like Glocks. I am going to, my natural point of aim with the Glock is going to be better than with any other gun, because this is what I run. If you go out and you buy a Ruger, you're natural, and shoot as many rounds out of it as I've shot out of this, you're going to build that natural presentation to where at close range you can shoot without focusing on getting good sight alignment. But that comes with time and training. And now we're going to move on to Big Tex. Big Tex, which I'm going to post a link to his 1 year later video in the bottom here, where it actually, you can see both. You can see his explanation a year later, and the video starts out with him actually shooting himself. And according to our friend in the post, Glocks are why you don't, or why you shoot yourself in the leg. Unfortunately, and I don't have a Kimber Pro Carry 2. He shot himself with a 1911. Didn't shoot himself with a Glock. honestly, whether or not he shot himself with a Glock or a 1911 or a Springfield or a BB gun is immaterial to the conversation. He shot himself because he did not exercise the first, or in my opinion, the first rule of firearm safety. And he'll tell you he did this himself. He put his finger on a trigger before his sights were on a target. That is why the gun went off. Had nothing to do with what gun it was. It had, I mean, I've seen some people trying to blame the Blackhawk Serpa holster, which I ran a Blackhawk Serpa for a long time. I've never shot myself. Now, you can't blame the holster. Everybody says, well, there's a design flaw because there's a button and you... We're all adults, boys and girls. And I will not say that there aren't things in different places that will lend to making things inherently worse. But when 10 million people do something and get it right, and one person gets it wrong, it's not a design flaw. You know, there are some, you know, firearms instructors that will not let a Serpa on the range because that trigger button on the Serpa is inherently dangerous. No. The person with the gun is inherently dangerous. It is a piece of plastic. This is the same argument what we're using in the gun control fight right now. This is not dangerous. You put it into the hands of a madman and it is dangerous. You put it into the hands of a criminal, it is dangerous. In and of itself, sitting right here, it's not dangerous. A Blackhawk Serpa holster is not dangerous. It does not make guns go off. Piss poor trained people using a Blackhawk Serpa holster who have not been taught to draw with their finger off the trigger. They're drawing like this. They draw the gun out of the holster like this, and that's how they present it. That's how accidents happen. It's exactly what Tex did. If you learn to draw with the gun, your finger outside the trigger guard, I don't give a shit where the little button is. You can put the button right here. I cannot put my finger in the trigger. So, to the gentleman that make the post, I really hope that you understand that you were inaccurate in a lot of ways. If you have questions, PM me. I will explain them to you. Please understand I was not trying to call you out or be a prick. It's after going through your comments, it was obvious to me that you just didn't know. And I was trying to make that... I was trying to help you. Anyway, I'm Mac from Double Tap Shooting. Double Tap Shooting School, incidentally. I am a firearms instructor. I've been a firearms instructor for the better part of 20 years. Military, law enforcement, NRA. I am not a beginner. So please don't take anything I said here today as gospel. Go check it out for yourself. If I'm wrong, come tell me I'm wrong. But please, if you're going to come tell me I'm wrong, bring some facts. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching. Have a good day.